We are back. 8-bit. Yes, right. Let's do
8-bit.
it.
So yeah,
Sample rate.
So
bit
sample
depth.
rate is less important than bit depth. Typically, I won't be overly technical, but if you say you have a file that's 44.1 kilohertz cycles per second, the actual stop band for the actual capture is going to be 0.45% of Nyquist, which is the half number, which is 22.050. You're not actually going to get the 22K in your capture. That's where aliasing comes from.
Yeah.
So the analog stop band is actually a little bit below Nyquist. So you really have 20K, from if you have a good enough converter, like DC to 20 kilohertz, which is usually beyond the range of human hearing in a lot of cases. And also, it represents enough information that if it's clocked well, it should be fine. I use 48K when there's a chance I'll go to DVD because there's no interpolation between samples. But the bit depth is also important. Modern converters, there's no such thing as 24 bits of precision in the analog domain yet. It's getting close. But because of thermal noise in the converter, you can usually get 21 bits of precision from a converter. So, the last 3 bits are going to be noise. But now you don't have to dither it because it's thermal noise and you have a really nice clean track. But we're so far down in the noise floor that you're really listening for details that might not show up.
See, that's the key right there, and a lot of people don't know about dither, and they, we had this discussion. I'm in this producer-engineer group on, we talked about dither, and it went over so many people's head. It's like people will be at a high res, and then they're coming back down to 44, and they don't even think about all that, translation coming down. And it's like, what are you doing?
Like, for example, mixing sample rates, you have to actually drop samples.
Yeah.
And what happens to the math when you drop the samples? There are actually real mathematical functions, like, for example, the sync function, SINC, is roughly speaking the impulse response. I'm sorry, I'm going in the weeds, but just for a second. That's one of them that you need to know if you really want to go really have a thorough knowledge. The sync function, and also you have to know dither. Those two are actually real physical mathematical processes that can help idealize what you're trying to capture.
Wow. So you're gonna say 48 and 32. That's what you're saying.
Not 32-bit input. So again, if we buy this, we're talking 32-bit float.
Oh, okay.
I don't float on input because there's nothing to float.
That makes sense.
Right. Now, if you add zeros to it and then you float it in the digital domain, that's cool.
Yeah.
But there's no reason to float your bits going in because there's only one company I know of that's doing 32 fixed point bits of precision, and that's John Stadius, who I got a chance to talk to. He's an amazing guy.
Wow.
But yeah, so generally speaking, I'll record 24 bits of fixed point precision.
Makes sense.
Yes.
All right. So you hand over the files. If you're gonna be mixing it or mastering it, you're gonna be going into a different mindset at that point. Now you're already ahead of the game because you were there capturing it. You knew going in the colors and the expressions you wanna to enhance or to put to it. What's your process there now? How do you go about it? Do you show up here and go, okay, I'm gonna mix now. I'm gonna pull up each one, or do you kind of like?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Who has that kind of time nowadays? So since I've done several hundred projects, I actually have a composite of maybe the last 15 where I got it right, and literally I can pick and choose which of the 15 scenarios I can use, and I start from there, and I literally drag and drop everything from the session, and I have it sort by what it is, and I start there. I am a big staunch advocate of template mixing, especially if you know how to build a template.
Yeah.
Which is where I spend most of my energy.
That's
because
amazing.
again, we get paid for our judgment, and if my judgment is transmissible via a template, my judgment happens faster.
That's amazing. So we know about your microphone selection in your studio, speakers.
You really want to know this?
Yep.
This is a secret. Emotiva Audio.
What?
Right. No one's ever heard of him outside of Nashville. A guy in Nashville, a good friend of mine, turned me on to him. The Emotiva audio. I used just regular 5-inch Emotiva B1.
5-inch?
5-inch.
That's what's up. I've used 4-inch speakers for many years, and it was the best. I read in an article of this ADR mixer, and he's like, if I can't hear it in these small speakers, then what's the point? And just in I'm paraphrasing, and that just blew my mind. I tossed my 8-inch speaker so fast, and I was using 4-inch speaker. Now, picture me mixing hip hop and reggae on 4-inch speakers. Those speakers took a beating, and then I up it like 2, and I'm using 6-inch speakers now. And so my near fields, and I just use near fields. I don't use subs. It's pointless for me. And anything bigger than a 6-inch is just way too big. It's just too much energy. I can't deal with it anymore.
Well, a lot of times, we'll jump ahead into mastering a bit. I make my living between 160 and 400 hertz. That's the right.
I love it.
Sparkles and bells and whistles are not hard to do, but getting that low mid right, everywhere, and understanding how to deal with that energy, because all the fundamentals are there.
Yeah.
So your snare drum, your kick, your lead vocal, the organ, Rhodes, all those have fundamentals there.
Yeah.
And careful management of what happens there builds your mix.
Wow.
And makes your master.
All right. Favorite headphones?
AKG K702s.
Really?
They're the only headphones I can sleep in.
Wow.
They are absolutely, they're open air.
Yeah.
And I think they're 50 ohm, I think. They're relatively low impedance. But, man, I mean, it's like listening to these. The image is superb. They're honest. They're not anything you're not supposed to hear. So if it's bright on 702s, you're actually bright. And they're not hype. They're really natural. Yeah. I can sleep with them. They have the nice big pillows. And I can actually translate with them.
Nice. Well, I use KRKs. Those are my
headphones?
Yes.
They make headphones?
Yes, they make headphones. They are supposed to do the same things a speaker do, but like if you're in the middle of the night and you really just want to, still continue editing or whatever, and they're pretty flat. My only thing, I would love to be endorsed by them because I've been using it, so it's not a bad thing, but they are not crazy loud, and that's my only little drawback.
How loud do you need?
I don't need it loud, but like when you're checking your mix afterwards and you really want to like hear what other headphones are gonna be doing, that's not the best headphone. But for mixing, for editing, I use them for editing mostly, and then listening to my mix. But the 8400s, those are my favorite to use. And then my second pair of near fields is KRK, the VX series, and then NS10s. So those are my speakers.
No comment.
And
here's one interesting thing about NS10s.
My mono button sticks down, and they're golden for me.
I'm glad you can use them. You know what happens when I use NS10s?
Yeah,
I get client revisions.
Oh, really?
I can't mix with them.
Oh, wow.
I can't understand them. Well, they have good group delay. That's good, but the frequency response is atrocious to me. Yeah. I mean, if I wanted to hear like my mix through clean up on aisle 4. I guess you get it, which does have some usefulness. But most people now hear on their AirPods.
Yeah.
So these are actually becoming my primary source of listening for translation.
Yeah. So when I'm done my mix, I pipe it to my AirPods while I'm sitting in the couch. Yeah. And it's the best thing ever. So now I'm doing that lately.
Still analog. I have the old ones with the
Yeah, I still use those. Favorite plugins, Joe? Favorite plugins?
I'm a Waves user.
Dude.
I happily say it. I've been using Waves, the legal versions, for a long time. I can mix pretty much any record with 5 Waves plugins. Here we go. Audio track.
What?
L1.
Yeah? On your master?
Yeah. I mean, or
just for
specific control.
Like, just
but if I just need
stuff?
something to tighten it up, like if I only had 5 plugins, top 5 would be audio track, L1, R-Verb.
Dude.
Right.
Yeah.
Renaissance Verb. And then we have C4, which is a multi-band compressor.
Yep.
And what's the 5th one? S1.
S1?
Right.
Imager on your master?
No.
On what? Just on
Stuff
anything?
that needs to pop out of the speakers.
Oh, dude,
Right.
you're inspiring me right now.
Yeah. So those top 5, I actually mixed a song that's on iTunes right now, and I use my top 5.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I have probably 3 of those are my top 5. C4, our verb, um, and the C1 comp, and the L2, and then the SSL, the Waves SSL. That's like in my preset. So that's like, that's so easy
So
for me
since
to
I'm a
just
nerd,
jump.
so here's the thing.
Uh-huh.
Audio track is basically Q4 plus C1 put together.
Oh,
And
really?
it has a fixed 6 dB knee.
Oh, nice.
So it's one of the things you can't adjust,
Yeah, yeah.
but if you know it's there. And it
Yeah,
has
yeah.
auto makeup.
Yeah.
So it's quick for gain staging, quick for getting it in the zone.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
some quick correction. I mean, of
Yeah,
course,
the
we're not
Q
doing
series
surgical
are
stuff.
dope.
Yeah, so.
All right. When we come back, we're gonna find out some more stuff that's gonna blow your mind from this guy called Joe, and I'm gonna call him. What's my nickname I was gonna give you?
Joe
Joe
Showfile.
Showfile. All right. See you. All right, we're back. Welcome back. I am Canute, and with me today is Joe Willett, and we are having fun. This should be like a whole series, just making a series talking to Joe, and we're just talking about plugins, top 5, and we're just talking about the plugins that you normally go for. That's what we are talking about. Normally go for in a session, and some cool ones. And off camera, you kind of said some more stuff, about your plugins, of how you use your plugins and layer them.
Right. So, also like Reaper stock plugins.
Reaper stock plugin,
Yes.
Sydney Thorpe. Here's
Right.
another
Man,
shout
listen. Say you need a 20-band multi-band compressor.
Yeah,
Okay, just keep clicking add band till you get 20.
and that's how it processes it.
And it's dead stop. So
Yeah.
if you need a 40-band EQ,
Mm-hmm.
okay. Like, you have a graphic, you could just make
Yeah.
a 40-band parametric. Just keep clicking.
That's dope. Yeah, that's dope. So, a lot of people would say we're just in the lab, just kind of just making noise or just doing stuff that's, but I would want to think that you are looking at sound in such a different way, rather than just mixing it and putting it out, or mastering it and putting it out. You're trying to see how you can literally, or maybe not literally, but how you can change the world by your capture, the things you work on, and the flavor you add to your projects that you're a part of.
Well, I'd like to think I absolutely changed the world.
Yeah.
Consider, if sound wasn't such a big deal, why does the iPhone 11 have bass now? Right. People want to hear things with
Yeah.
fidelity.
Yeah.
They want to be compelling.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, as engineers, we face an increasingly crowded field of people who also want to do what we do. And it can be tough to make yourself stand out when someone comes in with the same tool who gets a result that maybe doesn't stand out. So you have to really find your sonic footprint. When I mentor studio technicians, I actually teach them how to create a sonic footprint, which involves anomalies. The chaos in capturing in the moment is how you sell yourself. It's a little chaotic. Like, even on stage, if the stage has a little bit of little stuff floating around, find a way to accentuate that and make it the space, because that's going to be what we remember. So people who are in the room remember the environment.
Yeah.
And you want to be able to translate some of that environment to the recorded work, because now it creates, audible cues that they were there too.
Yeah.
Especially in, the house of worship environment, where this whole effort is in inspired work. We are actually propelled by the same power that the preacher talks about. And we can use that power to come up with innovative approaches to solutions that would otherwise, be unsolved.
You do anything for fun?
Oh, man, I'm a serious gearhead. Oh, my goodness. As much as I know about cars, I mean, in music, like, I'm a musician, sound tech, but, get me on a bench, I'll rebuild your transmission.
Yeah.
And I really like to eat certain foods. I have one place that's the best
Yeah.
place in all of heaven is Wawa.
Wawa.
Gotta
I
have a
love
Wawa.
Wawa's
Wawa is it's for people who aren't in the
quesadilla.
East. Man, listen, the burritos, the gobbler, because it's
Yeah.
now fall.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like to eat. I like cars.
Mhm.
I love spending time with my daughter.
That's dope.
So kids
That's
are
dope.
amazing.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for taking a bit of your time to talk with us in my world, and it's gonna be fun to see where we sit 5 years from now. Because, like you, I'm trying to change the world and bring so much awareness, especially not just in the house of worship, but especially just with young minds that's trying to learn what we do. We make it look easy. And so my last question to you is, what would you tell a young mind that wants to get into this or that is in it, and what they need to do to survive? Because it's getting crazy out there. Like, our audio world is now becoming a network engineer.
Well, that's the thing. They're native to it. So
Yeah.
I learned Reaper 10 years ago from a guy who was in high school. And I looked at him like, this is a joke, until it wasn't. And I was like, wait a minute, you just mixed 400 tracks on a gateway. So I would say, as young guys, don't hide from us. I'm not an old guy, but I'm in the middle, and I look for new ideas. And we have the judgment to help you with innovation. So it's actually bringing young guys in who have no precedent, who can change how we work to create something that might save us a lot of time. I have 13 songs to mix tonight. You think there's no scripting in Pro Tools?
Yeah.
Reaper speaks Python, so I can write a script, automate it, and put it in Dropbox, and go to bed, and it'll just churn files all night long.
Wow.
So, and these young guys are doing it
Yeah.
by themselves, without our help, without schools,
Yeah.
and often to great, getting a lot of attention, making a lot of money. So yeah,
What you want to be remembered for?
wow. Okay, stump me now at the end of the interview. I want to be remembered for the integrity of my approach. That I was absolutely faithful to doing the work that I was assigned, and that it was done to the best of my ability. Where I didn't make a shortcut because that's the corporate culture, or it's the predominant culture of the tech world where, we just got done. I want to do it right. And right is evaluated by the people who pay me, and also by my standards that I set as a professional production engineer. So I want to be remembered for having integrity and doing it right.
Wow. Joe, thank you so much for talking to
Yes,
us.
sir.
It's been a pleasure. It's been nerve-wracking just coming to talk to this man, just because of his knowledge base and, just like he said, his integrity and just his passion for this, and wanted to share that. And we hope that you got some tidbit on this, that this encourages you. If you are an engineer and you feel like you've hit the ceiling and there's nowhere, or there's you don't have a solid signature yet, or just you're not on the gigs that you want to be on, just push through. You could touch base with any one of us. We could be your support group, and just keep at it, because if you really, really want to do this and you're called to do it, then you should have a support group around you. So thank you so much for joining. This is a special episode of In My World. We're talking to Joe, and he's been a blessing to me ever since I met him. He's such an inspiring dude, and thank you so much, sir. All right.
Yes, sir.
All right.
All right.
Thank you for watching. See you next time.